What's a typical day like when you have a shoot?
It's
Okay, before that, do you like location shoot or studio shoot? Which do you prefer?
it depends. I mean, if I had to really answer that, I would say studio,
Yeah.
just because it's so much easier. But of course, every now and then it's nice to get out of the studio
Right.
and do something on location. But
So let's talk about a typical day
mhm.
in the studio first.
So a typical day, I like a late start. I'm not gonna lie. If I can start,
Studio, huh?
yeah, if I can start at 10 in the morning, I will start at 10 in the morning, which I think is a little atypical. But I get there and I unload my stuff. Me and my team will unload everything. We'll bring everything up to the studio.
Who's part of your team? You have an assistant photographer.
I honestly wouldn't even call them assistants. They're just collaborators.
Okay.
You know, like I think there's all the people I work with are so talented and bring so much to the table that it's hard for me to even call them assistants. More so like they're just my team.
So, okay.
Yeah, I love them. So
You guys are gonna prep.
we're
10
gonna
a.m.
prep, and everybody is great because everybody knows their role and excels in it. So we have a producer who's kind of making sure we're on track of time, making sure everybody's fed. We have I don't want to call them assistants. We have production people who are setting up stands and setting up lights. I usually have a lighting director who's helping me carry out my vision of the lighting.
Do you plan this the day before or the week before? Is there pre-prod before production or?
It really depends on the lead time. There's some projects that I've been on that we planned everything 12 hours prior.
What?
And now we're executing it the next day, and it's a big production. So that can be a little scary, but also a little fun. They're setting up the lights, and then we wait for the models to come. They go into hair and makeup if needed. Then they go into styling, and then we get to shooting. Who
gets to decide the playlist of music?
Most of the time, I will say my really, really good friend Louis, who is like my right-hand guy, usually decides that, but he's great at it.
What's the playlist like?
It just depends on the day. Before the allegations, it used to be all Drake. But we've kind of weaned off the Drake a little bit.
Okay.
But he has a great playlist. I mean, the only thing I don't like that he plays is we'll be mid-shoot and he'll play Sade. And it's like,
That's
Louis,
like,
bro.
Really?
I'm trying to wake up, man. And this guy's playing Sade. But he's good about keeping the music fresh. He's a music dude, other than he's the main producer. And
taboo.
when that comes on, I'm like, Louis, man, you got to change this. Everybody's asleep, or we need to do a second coffee run.
So, 10 o'clock, what time does it normally end? And who says that's a wrap?
Again, it depends. So if it's a half day shoot, that's normally like 6-ish hours. So if it's at 10, it'll end at like 4?
And this is film, huh?
Also depends.
Okay.
It also
Who
depends.
chooses the format now that you're doing freelance?
I think a lot of the times it's either the creative director, producer, or art director. And if it's a project I feel like, I want to shoot film on this, then I'll bring it up, right? Some people prefer film. Some people want to shoot digital. Just it's so much safer. And of course, I've had not so many, but I've had mishaps on film. And if you're shooting something
share some mishaps. That's stressful, yan, huh?
Oh man, honestly, I've shot film for really big campaigns. I've shot film for small stuff, and every single time we're done with the shoot, I feel like it's the end of the world.
Right.
Until I get my film back.
Right.
Yeah. And back to Louis. So every time we finish a shoot, he'll always ask me, "Well, how do you feel?" I shot film, and I'll look at him like, "What do you mean? How do I feel? I haven't even gotten the film back. I can't feel anything. I just feel stress and anxiety and all the negative feelings." So that's the only thing with film. I mean, luckily we've made more than we've missed, but it's always so scary to shoot film.
Okay,
always so scary.
When you're doing film, Who does? Where do you guys do the color processing?
I have a really good film lab in
Okay.
Orange called Rewind Film Lab.
Now,
So
when you go to Rewind, do you
Mhm.
tell them what colors should stand out?
so each film lab is different
Okay.
in the way that they do it. Rewind is great, and since I've worked with them so
They
much,
know your theme.
yeah. But I think a misconception is that you shouldn't edit film, but I edit a lot of my film.
Okay.
So, excuse me. So for them, it's mostly like scan my film in,
Ah.
send it to me,
Yeah.
and then I'll go in and do what I need to do.
Okay. That's nice, no?
It is nice.
Have you ever overexposed film? Wait, knock on wood. It might be Tito Paco.
That's less of an issue than underexposing.
Okay.
So when in doubt, overexpose.
Why?
When in doubt,
Because you can
overexpose.
always bring it down.
You can always bring it down. You can't bring it up. So film
Isn't that
specifically.
baliktad? Because it's a digital world.
Yeah.
I mean, darken it down because you can always bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's sunog, you can't recover anymore, diba?
Yeah. So film has a lot of latitude in the highlights,
Ah.
right? So the most popular film is Portra.
Yeah.
Portra 400, and with Portra 400, I think you can push it 3 to 4 stops, and up,
Wow.
and you still get a lot of information.
So kahit halos white na yan if you bring it.
I mean that no.
Okay. Sunog.
That no. Yeah, that's done. That's cooked. But I normally, as just like a safety precaution, I actually shoot one stop overexposed,
Okay.
just so I know the light's gonna be good, mostly, and then I'll just bring it down in post.
See, the reason why I'm bringing the conversation there is so that me and the audience can see that only through experience will you be able to answer the way you're answering it.
Yes,
It means you've experienced.
this is years. This is years of trial and error and frustration and anxiety.
You kidding me? Coming out here at Paco's place, major interviews, wala pa lang, hindi pa lang naka-on yung mic. Or
That's the worst.
we did Martin Rivera. You know Martin Rivera, one of the popular Filipino singers. He was here, right? And this was early on, maybe episode in the 30th episode or somewhere there. He was saying nice things, interesting things. Hindi pala naka-record yung camera. Can you imagine? We've had those.
Everybody has to go through it. It's just a part of what we do.
What's your advice? I mean, like with your mishaps in the beginning, how do you recover from it?
Just do better next time.
Do you tell your clients?
Learn from it. Yeah, of course. Of course. I think integrity is so important in life and in creativity and in what we do, that if you make a mistake, you should own up to it. And you should make sure that, I've done reshoots from my pocket
Whoa.
because I've messed up a shoot, right? And luckily it hasn't been anything that was too big. But, when I was first starting out, I was working with, and I still work with a lot of smaller clients. It's something I really enjoy doing. And when I work with smaller clients, I think something to understand there is this client could be spending their entire year's marketing budget on your shoot. So take it as seriously as you would shoot a Nike or you would shoot a New Balance, because that shoot, is everything to them, right? And, a couple of times I have messed up, early on, or scouted the wrong location, or just didn't do something right. And I just strive to do better next time, of course, and then just try to do right by the client, no matter who it is. Whether that's a reshoot or just doing it again, or whatever, just finding a solution and just making sure that they're okay, because like I said, that money is more crucial to them than to some of these bigger guys out here.
How about doing location shoots? That you're at the mercy of what? The sun? If it's a day shoot?
Of God.
Of
You're
God,
at the mercy of God, to be honest with you. I mean, it depends, right? So I'm sorry I'm going to say it depends a lot, but when you're on location, if your budget's big enough, you're probably permitting a spot. So when you're permitting a spot, you have security guards,
Yes.
the what's it called? The street is blocked out, right? And it's so controlled. You're there for however many hours. You can control everything light, whatever the case may be. If you're just doing this run and gun, that's when it can get a little dicey.
Talk to me about the run and gun.
That stuff is like, when early on, it was a lot of fun. So much fun. Now that I'm a little bit more seasoned, I try not to do it. But still, every now and then, it's like you get a good kick out of it, It's like there's so much like rawness to it that it's fun. And
everybody has to be on the same page, huh?
Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
take a shot, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and there's just so many things like kind of out of your control, especially if you're shooting film like I do. I mean, for with Louis, my producer, we shoot all the content for Mitchell and Ness. Mitchell and Ness, the sportswear company.
Yes.
And last year we went to New York 3 times, and each time.
Wait, what month was this?
First one was April.
Okay, so
which was great.
Yeah.
It was still hot, but that was actually my first time in New York ever.
Oh.
And that was
sticky.
Man, yeah, that was crazy because we shot for I think 4 straight days.
Okay.
All film.
Where?
Everywhere.
Oh wow.
All running gun. All running gun. So I tell you, is like that the aftermath of that. I remember like the plane ride home, just thinking to myself like, shit. What if I fucked up? What if my camera wasn't working? What if I just didn't do something right? So it's just like that anxiety of it was so crazy. And I think, that whole shoot was running gun. So literally we were driving around in I think it was like a Yukon Denali, right? Riding around, we'd find a spot. We had our driver double park, everybody hop out. Okay, we start shooting, boom, 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 boom. And we're shooting 4 or 5 models. Okay, everybody back in the car. Everybody back in the car. And then we go to the next spot, and then we get out. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, everybody get dressed. Everybody's getting dressed on the street. And, Louis making sure that everybody's dressed in the right thing because it's just me and him and one other person. So that stuff is, and we did that 3 times last year. So that stuff can be really crazy. But those are the shoots that you kind of look back on and it's like, I can't believe we did that, 1. And 2, it's like just that pure raw energy of shooting again is so fun, at times. It's fun and you're just going off instinct.
Yeah.
Right? You're going off instinct. That one time I didn't bring any lighting equipment. It's just me and a reflector and the sun. So I'm just looking at the sun. I'm looking at my model. Look at the environment. Okay, boom. Okay, next one. You don't have time to sit there and think like, oh, we got to shoot 50 of this because we have a million things to get through. We have a million places to get to. You're just shooting.
Wait, what about your lighting? What about exposing to it?
I have a light meter.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know how to use a light meter. And luckily, one of the film cameras that it uses has an internal light meter.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's nice. But those shoots can be so crazy. I'll always joke with my friends because they always ask me, like, how's traveling for work? And I say, look, guys, it might be the worst week of my life. It's the worst week of my life because you wake up, you're jet lagged.
Yeah.
You get dressed, you're shooting all day. You get back to the hotel tired, disgusting from being in New York, and you got to do it again the next day.
Plus the fact that on the flight home, you don't know what the results of the film is.
You have no idea what you got.
Right?
Yeah. And people, if you don't know, film is very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays, film is very expensive. One roll at the time, I think, was close to $20.
Wow.
Just for the roll. To develop it is another $20.
Now, how many rolls of film do you use in a shoot?
For something like New York, I think for the 4 or 5 days that we're there, I usually will shoot 40 or 50 rolls of film.
32 each, 24 each.
36 each.
36, I'm sorry.
If
36.
I'm using a 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
10 each if I'm using my Mamiya. So with the Mamiya, it's even more like...
Like how much? Like 60?
No, the film is actually a little cheaper. It's just you only get 10 shots per roll.
Hey, that's it.
So you really have to be precise. So, that's why it's scary on these New York trips because it's like I'm staring at $4,000 in just film and I have no idea if it's going to come out.
So now you're done, right? You processed film, you did the post-production. When do you present it to your client?
Whenever their timeline is. Yeah, I try to have at least a week. At least a week.
How does it feel presenting to your clients, like now and back then?
I mean,
because it's different for you to validate yourself. It's different when you're presenting to them and they go, or wow, or.
Yeah, I mean, when I was first starting out, I mean, it's still scary. When I was first starting out, it definitely was really scary. Because I don't think I had the confidence yet to look at my work and say, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I think that's cool. You know? And it took me a while to really develop that confidence. So in the beginning, it was like, this entire thing hinges on whether my client likes it or not. Which is kind of, as a creative, that's not a great place to be in. You know, because then...
What's your voice,
What's
right?
your voice? Yeah, then why are you doing this? You know, so at first it was really scary. Now that I've progressed to a lot bigger shoots, there's so many buffers that, yes, it's still scary, but there's so much pre-production that goes into these kind of things that if, you know, at the end of it, everybody kind of should have known what was going to happen. You know, so on these bigger shoots, we make a deck that we present to a client. We show them, this is who we're shooting. These are the locations we're shooting. This is the lighting. This is the shot list. So they have a really good idea of what we're doing.
It gets approved before the first shot is even taken.
Yes.
So that's like your service contract agreement already. Kinda.
Yeah. So that's why it on those kind of things, it's a little easier. There are clients that I do have that'll hire me and tell me to go do it my way. And that can be 50-50, right? Because if I do it my way and you're not giving me direction, of course I'm going to do it my way. But then if I show you the work and you're going to say, well, why didn't you do it this way? It's like, well, you told me to do it my way. And that still happens. That still does happen. And that's where it's frustrating, but it's one of those things like, control what you can control.
Yeah.
You told me to do it my way, so I did it my way. And you can't really fault me for that because you told me to do it my way.
So now you're more confident to put your foot down when necessary.
Yes.
Wedding photography, is that something you ever...
No, never. Nope. Don't even want to talk about it. Props to you guys who do it. I don't even want to touch it. That's, you know, the people who do that are real pros. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Visit abboteservices.com for fast medical transcription service. This podcast episode is brought to you by AB Music Creative.